yourself who you think should have won this one.
Okay, gentlemen, we both talked in the dressing room. I want to remind you to obey my commands at all times. When I say break, stop punching, let go, and take one step back. I want a clean, hard fight. Good luck and shake hands.
Final instructions from referee Larry Rosadilla. Sacramento, the gold rush town, which has been a real boxing hotbed for Tony Lopez. Here's his opponent, Dingaan Thobela from South Africa, who actually boxed on the Lennox Lewis Razor Ruddock bill, beating Hull's Tony Foster in what was frankly an 8-round bore. He'll have to improve a good deal on that if he's going to test the very competent world lightweight champion, as recognized by the WBA, Tony Lopez, who calls himself the Tiger and is in the tiger skin shorts here. Duke McKenzie, Lopez has been pretty good value down the years.
Yeah, Tony Lopez probably today is one of the most colourful, most exciting boxers you could ever wish to see. Does just about everything. Real good pressure fighter.
Thobela calls himself the Rose of Soweto. He's 26 years of age. He's quite a smart, neat boxer, and he'll set Lopez a few problems. Probably, though, not too many that he hasn't been set before, because he's been mixing in the top draw, Lopez.
Stop.
Lopez is the kind of fighter who can do a bit of everything. Box, fight, he's got a good heart, good chin. Does tend to cut sometimes.
The South African's he's got a nice, relaxed style. He doesn't look nervous or apprehensive at all. He's just really nice and almost casual.
Thobela is a former WBO champion at this weight. He gave up the belt. Seems to be in vogue, that, really. Michael Moore doing it recently, of course, at heavyweight.
I won't say I'll follow fashion, but I'd love to get into a situation perhaps with one of the other champions and fight in a part unification title fight. That would be hopefully one of my next moves.
Duke, of course, a 3 times world champion. Now Thobela, nice and mobile and loose, as Duke was saying, and presenting a pretty elusive target, Duke.
Well, he doesn't look overawed at all. I mean, he's fighting in Lopez's backyard, and he's just, you know, he's walking back and just popping out punches. He's just trying to counter-punch Tony Lopez now. Doesn't look apprehensive at all. He just took a couple of cuffs there, but just nice and relaxed, nice and composed. He's made a good start.
Lopez just looking a bit wild at times in this opening round. He's let go with a few hooks that have just hit thin air. Thobela just concentrating on working behind that jab and feeling his way into the fight. Last few seconds of the opening round. And quite a confident start from the challenger here in Lopez's backyard.
Oi, come on, life's always better in the sun. How do they get their stories? Now all can be revealed. Someone called me up and said, I'm the one who squealed. Will bureaucrats in Brussels unify the nations and standardise your sausage to meet the regulations in the sun? In the sun, in the sun. In the sun.
More chocolate. More caramel. More crunch. The biggest ever Twix.
There's Tony Lopez in his corner. First defence of the title, he won with a stoppage of Joey Gamache last October in 11 rounds. Lopez, twice the IBF super featherweight champion, before holding the crown up at 9 stone 9 here at lightweight. Difficult place to come, though, for any opponent, because the crowd very, very partisan. In fact, there was a riot when Lopez was stopped by Juan John Molina here. even though Molina had won the fight hands down and there was not much dispute from Lopez, the crowd just couldn't take it.
You know, it's very, very hard sometimes for a champion to fight in his own backyard in front of his own people. Sometimes they make you fight a lot harder than you want to. You know, there might be times in a round where you just want to like relax and, you know, try and coast through, but when you hear the crowd roaring behind you, it really can make you, you know, dig deep if you have to and really pour it on.
But you'd rather be home than away, wouldn't you, Jude?
Yeah, definitely, rather be home than away. It's interesting there between rounds just to see in Thobela's corner that he's got a guy called Jesse Reed, who's the manager of, or the trainer of Orlando Canizales, the IBF bantamweight champion, and he's an excellent corner man. So they've employed some people in his corner there. They obviously think they're in with a real chance.
Again, Lopez missing with his attempted left hook, and Thobela there just coming in with a little combination of his own and beginning to find the range too with that jab. Good work from him in this round.
Yeah, he's picking off Lopez nicely there, but Lopez just, you know, retaliated with a little cluster of his own.
And Thobela was just complaining there that Lopez had butted him a bit.
Yeah, I think he'll try and look for little things and try and out-ruffle Tony the Tiger and, you know, try and get the referee to step in and break him up when there's nothing really wrong. You know, he'll try anything to, you know, he can to get in his favour. Trying to frustrate Lopez now, showing a little bit of lateral movement there.
So the pattern is clear. Lopez trying to pressure Thobela, who's proving to be an elusive counter-puncher, and so far those tactics are looking quite good for him.
Yeah, he's adopted brilliant tactics so far. Lopez rolls real well though, because he's small, he's compact. His hands up all the time. He's just trying to roll his way in there and get some punches off. You see where Lopez, he just took a looping left hand there from the South African.
Last few seconds here of the second round. And Lopez there, as he goes back to the corner, just giving a little nod by way of appreciation at Thobela.
He probably won that round on aggression alone. Thobela wasn't really throwing too much, he was just walking back trying to counter-punch, but like I say, Lopez probably just won the round on aggression alone. Nice little cluster there from Thobela.
Lopez was made to miss quite a bit in the round. Question really of how much landed. I don't think there was an awful lot in that one. But Lopez, I think, has some problems here because Thobela is a far, far different fighter than the one we saw in that real yawn on the Lewis Radakunda card. He obviously was only in first gear that night.
Yeah, you often find that as a challenger in any fight, you know, or any boxer, as a challenger, you fight maybe like 10 times your normal sort of the way you would fight. I mean, this guy really fancies it. A nice little cluster there. He's nice and composed. He's, you know, he's stepping up the pace a little bit here, taking the fight to Lopez.
Of course, the key question is how will the judges see it in Lopez's hometown? As Duke was saying, they do often tend to score for aggression much, much more in the States.
Yeah, well, but, you know, that's what you often find in America. They like the guy that goes forward and makes the fight as opposed to the guy that, you know, walks back looking for counter punches. But I think Thobela realises this because he's having an excellent round so far. And he's standing his ground, he's planting his feet there and he's looking to get off.
I've never quite followed that American argument, I must say, scoring like that. Good left hook from Thobela, because it's about punches landed on the target area. You can walk forward all you like, but if you're landing on the gloves and arms and being made to miss, how do you score that?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult at the moment, but I think, you know, like in American boxing, they're not like British boxers or, you know, British-styled referees, you know, like you say, they tend to score on aggression more than anything else, which isn't always the best way. I think if I was a ringside judge judging this at the moment, I'd have Thobela in front. He's winning this round and he had the best part of the last round. He's not he's not getting erratic. He's just pot-shotting and you know, just putting his punches together pretty well in this round.
Much better punch economy from him too.
Yeah, Tony Lopez, he really isn't scoring too cleanly. He's rolling very well. He's nice and compact, but he's not getting off real quick. He's not getting home with any punches.
Lopez, I'm sure, has the harder dig of these two. Not that either of them are real concussive punches. Thobela will rely on his neat and silky boxing skills.
He's got quite a good jab, actually, Thobela. I'm quite surprised. I would have thought by now he might have got drawn into a, you know, a real dogfight with Tony Lopez and gone in and, you know, try to out-ruffle him. But he's being really, really shrewd, really sensible.
Coming up towards the end of round 3 here.
Excellent round for the South African.
Thobela's round.
I remember the night we walked barefoot in the wet sand. I remember the sparkle of bubbles in the moonlight. And I remember, too, discovering these delicious little milk chocolate squares with their soft caramel and, that lovely crunchy bit. And I tried to forget that someone saw fit to name them Munchies. I said I tried to forget.
Scene is Sacramento. A crowd here, not quite as big as it's been in the past for Tony Lopez world title fights. It's his 8th world title fight in Sacramento, his 12th in all. But just maybe the novelty's wearing off for some of these fans. And Thobela, the South African, giving Lopez quite a few problems. Good right hand, probably Lopez's best punch so far. Real solid right. Thobela just standing off for a moment, just recomposing himself. Lopez just let the moment pass a wee bit, didn't really build on that initiative. But maybe that was because Thobela didn't let him.
Well, Lopez now is looking to stamp his authority and really sort of get into the fight, just to show Thobela who the champion is. Yeah, he's just adopting like pressure tactics now and just looking to walk forward and get his punches off, try and take Thobela out of his stride, because he was getting into a nice rhythm at the end of the 3rd round. Crowd is starting to get behind Tony Lopez as well now, so that'll raise his game even more.
I must say I liked Jesse Reed's advice in the Thobela corner. Just keep on tapping him with the jab, he said. Yeah. Some tapping, huh?
Yeah, he's tapping with the jab and pressure on the right end. You know, I think he feels that perhaps if the fight goes late into the fight, Lopez might start to cut, because he's a renowned leader, as they say. But he's not sustained his pressure. He got off with some good punches earlier on, Lopez, but he's just not, you know, pressing home the advantage there.
Thobela gave up his WBO title because of some, well, what he felt silly restrictions being imposed on him. He felt the WBO were trying to run his life, and the WBO do have a rule that if you give up the title, you have to pay them $200,000, but I don't think Thobela was buying that.
In that case, I can't give up my WBO title.
You haven't got a spare 200,000 on you, have you?
Mickey tough, mate.
Yeah, that'll be loose change to him.
Yeah, loose change, yeah.
Well, Lopez getting closer in this round. Maybe significantly so.
You can hear Thobela's corner shouting out to use the jab and, you know, try and keep Lopez off guard and, you know, try and back him up. I think Lopez is, I don't think he can fight as well going backwards as he does, you know, when he's coming forward.
Both scoring with left hooks there. Thobela's unbeaten in his career so far. Just the one draw blotting his 30-fight record.
Thobela is very upright, just stands straight, so, you know, perhaps late in the fight, if Lopez sets a really hard pace, he's going to get found wanting.
scores again.
He gave it 100%, didn't he? And 100% is what I want from you lot. Shredded wheat is 100% whole wheat. No other cereal gives you more whole wheat goodness.
Never scored a hat-trick.
You, when he could still put away 3. Get out of it. Shredded wheat and new shredded wheat, bite-sized, 100% whole wheat.
It was an unforgettable day's cricket, with the finish going all the way to the wire.
Still Fairbrother finishes the back shot in fine style.
Now England are 3-1 up as they set their sights on a Chance Cup victory in India. Don't miss the 5th One-Day International tomorrow morning at 3:15 live on Sky Sports in association with Foster's.
Fifth round for the WBA lightweight title. Tony Lopez in the tiger skin trunks. Dingaan Thobela, former WBO lightweight champion. Lopez looking to slow him down with body shots. That seems to be a significant tactic now.
I think Lopez, he's really got to stamp his authority on the fight. You know, we're getting into the 5th round and there isn't too much in it at the moment.
I thought the 4th was Lopez's best round yet.
Yeah, best round so far. But he's looking now. Oh, lovely sneak right in.
That just shook him up a little bit, I think. He wants to hold on to Baylor and buy some time.
Yeah, he's claimed there a little bit, and it's a nice sneak right in, punch over the top. Lopez caught him with.
And it's looking better for Lopez now. The body shots look quite hurtful.
Yeah, he's really sinking him in. I'm sure they're hurting Thobela.
Mentioned that Lopez had been value for money. He's been involved in some real classics in his world title campaigns. Oh, that was a really good right hand too. 3.
Lopez looks like he's hurt a little bit there.
Some comeback list from the South African.
Lopez is so cool. Even under pressure, he's so cool. He just takes everything in his stride. Not showing any desperation tactics, not getting flustered. He's just obviously hurt there, but just took everything nice and cool, nice and composed.
Lopez, who holds 2 wins over Rocky Lockridge. In the first one, an absolute war. He got off the floor to become the world champion for the first time. And he's had 3 fights with Juan Molina, winning 2, losing 1.
I remember the Lockridge fights very well. Real wars.
Lopez also had a surprisingly easy win over boxing's Gary Glitter, Jorge Paez.
Thobela's corner keep shouting right hand, left hook, perhaps they can see a move there that might come off for him, but he hasn't tried it as yet.
Lopez showing signs, though, in the last couple of rounds that he's beginning to solve the problems. Having said that, Thobela keeps coming back at him with some sharp combinations.
Yeah, he's a real good pot shot. There's a lovely sneak right hand there he got off with.
Fascinating fight for the WBA lightweight crown here.
Experience the unique genius of Ray Charles, the living legend. Out now.
You see how he bends? Pick him up with the uppercuts.
Thobela working behind his jab there. There was the right hand and then the left hook from Lopez, and that was the little barrage that shook Thobela up a bit. Body shots too, Duke.
Yeah, Thobela, he's real sneaky, you know. He tries to throw like little sneak punches and he's getting off with him. A lovely little uppercut there he caught Lopez with. Straight right again. Lopez with his hands down in the court in by his side and just backing off there.
Nice touch there as they touch gloves coming out for round 6. There's nothing in the rules that says they have to do that. So there's a lot of mutual respect between these two already.
Lopez still staying cool and calm. In fact, still winging away that big left hook that he keeps trying to adopt there.
Better work from Thobela. He made Lopez miss and came back with the counters that scored.
Yeah, Thobela really does have really good defensive skills, because he's, you know, there's times where he's standing right in front of Lopez and Lopez ain't really getting no punches home.
Yeah, Thobela's what the Americans would call a cute boxer.
Yeah, he's very cute. I mean, he's got an excellent jab, but he's not using it enough.
Yeah, he needs to keep Lopez at range, doesn't he, and not let him get in range to get those body shots in.
Yeah, he just stick his jab on him a little bit more. I know it's easier said than done, because we're only sitting there watching it, but he's done that. Not, you know, he's just stick the jab in Lopez's face, and I mean, Lopez is known for being a bleeder, as we've said before, so that would be the punch to open up the cuts and maybe look to start getting off with the right hand.
Now that's better from Thobela. Once he starts working behind the jab, he looks pretty good.
Yeah, if he uses that jab, everything else will just come. Lopez is just getting a little bit outboxed here. He's getting a little bit erratic, and well, he obviously nobody likes losing, but he's losing this round, I'd say.
Thobela, once again, just sticking out the jab, just switching to southpaw momentarily then, too.
He's really starting to fancy this one. Oh, good straight right from Thobela.
Lopez rather walked onto that as well. He looks a bit disorganised at the moment, Lopez. Gloves have come down, a right uppercut got home as well while he was on those ropes.
Yeah, he's staying nice and cool though. He's not getting flustered. He's getting outboxed, but I think he can see light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, maybe he feels that he'll just slow Thobela down with these body shots and wear him away. But will he? Last few seconds here of the 6th round, and this has been a very, very good one for the South African challenger.
The Corgi originally was a cattle dog. We've actually bred 7 champions, and I think feeding's probably the key to everything. They've always enjoyed pedigree chum. The dogs have always loved it, but one of them found it too rich. We tried to improve recipe, and his tummy was much better. It's definitely more digestible. So he actually woofs it down. He's put on body and coat and condition, and he's a happier dog. I would certainly recommend new improved recipe pedigree chum. I think it's the best.
You got him where you want him, keep him there. Don't let him off the hook. He's ready to go. And keep him where you've got him.
Jesse Reed and the cornermen talking to Dingaan Thobela after his excellent 6th round. That was that right uppercut.
That was an excellent right uppercut. I mean, Jesse Reed saying to his guy that Lopez is getting ready to go. You know, they feel like he's slipping, and this could be a really big upset.
Your scorecard, just having a look over your shoulder, you've got Thobela quite significantly ahead at this stage.
I've got him well ahead.
I've got him ahead, but a wee bit more narrowly than you.
I'm not a ringside judge.
Neither of us are. We don't count, really. Rodolfo Hill, Cesar Romero and Fritz Warner are the ones who do count here. This is the 7th. Lopez, just to remind you, Tony the Tiger, as he calls himself, in the tiger skin shorts.
Just wonder what's going through Tony Lopez's mind right now, because he's, you know, on my card I'm making behind, so it'll be interesting to see just how desperate he does become later on in the fight.
Don't want to keep labouring the point, we make it plenty of times, but a feeling maybe that Thobela will have to win it quite big to actually get the decision in Sacramento.
Oh, my scorecard, he's winning it quite big at the moment, Ian, so, but I know my scorecard really doesn't account for much. But Lopez is getting outboxed and outpunched at the moment. You know, he really has to start getting some punches off to swing this fight around and get it in his favour.
Lopez just looks, to me, as if he's run out of ideas for the moment. He has a kind of open, dispirited, almost dejected look about him.
Very dejected, yeah. When he hasn't landed with one significant punch yet that you could say, well, you know, like Thobela looked in trouble or really looked desperately hurt. Seems like the challenger's the one that's doing all the pot shotting, all the hurting and all the, you know, all the things that you've got to do in a world title fight.
Could be that Thobela's meeting Lopez at about the right time. He's had a lot of wars, and whether they've just taken the edge off his competitiveness, maybe that is a factor.
Lopez is cut, I think. Looks like he's cut there over the right eye.
Yeah, there's some damage there. And Thobela will be lifted by that as well.
Hey, Thobela's winning the, you know, he's winning the war on the inside as well.
Thobela's in charge in a big way at the moment.
Oh yeah, this is another round for Thobela.
He's beaten some good men in his time, Dingaan Thobela. Notably Danilo Cabrera knocked him out in 3 rounds. That was the fellow that gave Barry McGuigan such a tough fight. Maurizio Acives, the former WBO champion, beating twice Thobela.
From the vast expanses of games technology comes the ultimate in arcade adventure.
Exterminate.
Enter the games world as you battle for survival through a galaxy of levels. Preview the latest techno breakthroughs and explore new frontiers in games advancements. Then prepare for your fiercest encounter against the mighty Vidiators. Experience the power of Games World every weekday at 6 on Sky One.
Bella, they're not going to give you no gifts here, son. You got to win this fight. You go out there and keep him on the back step. Don't let him off the hook. Keep touching him and backing him up. You won't get a decision. You gotta run him out of there. Run him out of there, son. You can do it. You hear me?
Jesse Reed said it for you. You're not going to get any gifts here. You've got to run him out of there. And that was exactly what was going through my mind. And when I was saying to Duke about how Thobela would have to win it by a very wide margin, that's what's going through their mind in the corner.
Yeah, Jesse Reed, I don't think he's, you know, he doesn't sound desperate, but I think what he's trying to do is get Thobela to really, like, turn it on now in these final rounds that are coming up. Probably in his mind, he honestly believes that, like, Thobela is ahead, as I've scored it as well, but, you know, the judges probably see it different, and I dare say Lopez sees it different as well. Thobela is fighting, you know, not just Tony Lopez, but the crowd, the judges, and also Lopez's corner, so he's really got his work cut out for him.
So far, I've given the 4th and 5th rounds to Lopez, the first even, and everything else to Thobela. I've got him a couple of rounds ahead. And Duke, I know you've got him more emphatically ahead. Lopez with that damage to the right eye, too.
The only thing that really surprises me in this fight is that Lopez hasn't really scored, you know, like a really big punch to say, well, you know, like he's won a round really decisively, or he's had the other guy in really bad trouble. You know, the times where he looks really pedestrian, you know, and really like one-paced.
This is better from Lopez in this round. He's coming back a bit here.
Yeah, he just got off with a lovely right hand there, complaining to the referee about heads.
And Larry Rosadilla having a look at the eye. And I think that's why Lopez is worried. He was worried that Thobela was doing some head work that might make the wound even worse.
Well, the eye's bleeding again now, so, you know, if the fight was stopped, it would probably go to the scorecards again. I'm not sure what sort of rule they adopt in Lopez's home state, but I think he's probably just letting the referee aware that that cut was caused by a head.
Well, if they did go to the scorecards, that wouldn't be perhaps too clever for Lopez, so that may be not the smartest argument. And he certainly would go to the scorecards. That is the WBA rule at this late stage of the contest. But Lopez showing in this round that he may still have a wee bit more to offer in this fight, having gone through a pretty bad patch.
He hasn't won this round. This is Lopez's round.
Thobela's just done rather less in this one. He's not really flicking out that jab very often. And when he is, he's tending to miss with it. The one thing Lopez will never ever do is give up. He actually relishes boxing. He says it's pretty cool. And by trying to keep it as a hobby, I don't bring the job home. He makes it sound like he's doing carpentry or something, doesn't he?
I think he really enjoys fighting.
Oh, Tony, that might be worth a little replay.
Cracking idea, Ralph.
Oh, yes, there she is! Is this little madam going to pop that balloon? This could be another classic example of the hit of real oranges. It's Tango great, Tony! It's Tango exploding on his taste buds!
Yes, Ralph, what a shocker.
Oh, there she goes again!
She's done a tremendous job. Smashing.
You know when you've been tangoed.
A little bit, okay? You're still not doing enough, though, okay? Okay. I think you're behind on the fight right now, okay? You got to get on the top of this guy, okay?
Close your eyes.
Well, that's interesting. In the Lopez's corner, they're saying that he is behind in the fight, so they are agreeing with us.
Yeah, that's the way I'd seen it. He's definitely behind.
Good right hand from Lopez. Ninth round, WBA Lightweight Championship. And Dingaan Thobela here, at the moment, on course to dethrone Tony Lopez in the champion's first defence.
Good right hand over the top from Tony Lopez. And again. You know, every time Thobela gets caught with a punch, he never gets, he never gets flustered, or he never looks desperate. He just tries to tuck up and weather the storm, and then comes back with his own counter punches.
Well, the interesting thing now is that whereas earlier in the fight Lopez was the one who was always coming forward, Thobela is now coming forward, and he's tending to just stand in front of Lopez a bit more.
Yeah, he's definitely doing that. He's trying to goad him in, I think, a little bit, and just pot shot, because he knows he can hit Lopez. Lopez isn't, he's not difficult to hit at all. But he looks calm and composed, Thobela. Lopez doesn't look calm and composed. Oh, he just took a left hook coming in there. Thobela's is boxing brilliantly.
Got a suspicion that the meatier, more solid shots are coming from the champion in this round.
Yeah, the bigger punches are definitely from Lopez, but Thobela, he's just that much more busier. He landed a lovely uppercut there, and the referee warned him for it.
Yeah, what was that about?
Oh, gee. It's probably because it's in Lopez's backyard. The referee's going to favour him a little bit there. But Thobela's throwing a lot of punches now. Lopez isn't looking as fresh as he did in the beginning of the fight. He's trying to counter here a little bit. That'll tell you that he was probably in a little bit of trouble there.
He's showboating a bit, Lopez, there.
If I was him, I'd cut out the showboat and just get on with the fight, because he's behind.
Tough round to score, this one, because Lopez did get in with some quite good solid shots early on. Thobela's come back again. It might depend on this last 30 seconds or so. No, they hit the gloves, those two.
I think this is an even round for me. They're both not really doing too much. Both looking a little bit, well, tired, if you like, and a little bit weary, as you'd expect. Lopez is trying to showboat a little bit, but it's not really coming off for him.
Oh, good right hand from Lopez, that. Right at the end of the round. He might have just nicked it, but I wouldn't argue for long about it.
Over the years, Clifford has lost the odd friend and nearly lost his girl. To Eddie, but he's kept his teeth because he's kept his gums healthy. Listerine or Coolint twice a day are clinically proven to give effective protection against plaque, lasting 24 hours. That's good for gums and teeth. And while fighting plaque, they also freshen breath. Listerine twice a day helps take breath away and keep plaque at bay.
3 more rounds.
Okay. 2 rounds left, Tony, that's it. Fascinating to hear the cornermen speaking. Of course, the British Boxing Board of Control won't allow microphones in the corner in Britain. What would you feel about them being introduced, Duke?
I don't think they would like to introduce them with Mickey Duff's in the corner. They might not like the sort of things that he's saying.
Well, everybody might have to temper the language a little bit, but it really does, I think, give you something else for those of you at home with the coverage, because you can kind of get into the minds of how the camp are thinking.
Yeah, it'd be a good insight for the public in large that are watching.
Well, this is some start to the 10th, isn't it? Both of them really trading.
Well, Lopez corner telling him that he's behind and he's got to really get busy and dig deep in these last 3 rounds. This is often what a champion's made of.
More blood by that right eye of Lopez. It'll have to be very, very bad indeed for them to pull him out in this place.
If they stop the fight for that cut, they'd be a near right, I'm sure. It's bleeding profusely though there on his left eye, Lopez.
Looks pretty bad now, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Thobela was just like pot-shotting lovely there inside. Lovely little uppercuts.
Lopez's gloves have started to dangle down by his side rather a lot in the last couple of rounds too.
Yeah, well, Lopez is the one that looks like desperate. Thobela's just being really cool, calm and compact. His hands are up nicely and he's just, he's punching Tony Lopez at will now.
Oh, this is great stuff from Thobela in this round. Blurring hand speed and very effective combinations.
Well, this would be an upset if Thobela swings this one and wins this fight.
Lopez cut, looking tired, and I don't know, his work has a shade of desperation about it for me.
He looks desperate, tired, he's cut, he's hurt, but he's hanging in there. He's not going to give up. He's going to fight with a champion's heart to the last. What we've got to remember, Ian, is this is Sacramento.
Thobela has hit him with some terrific shots in this round. He's almost doing what he wants, the South African.
Lopez looks like he's punched himself out a little bit there. He's backing up on the ropes. He's breathing heavy.
And he looks somewhere near the bottom of the barrel, doesn't he, Lopez, here?
Yeah, he looks like he's definitely at the bottom of that barrel. Crowd are trying to spur him on, they're shouting Tony, but...
Thobela is in arrogant control, though, isn't he, Duke, here?
Very much so.
Been a few mood swings in this fight. Just when we thought that Thobela was really getting in charge before, Lopez came back again with another little rally. But in this 10th round, Thobela has resumed control in a fairly major way.
Guinness Draft Bitter, far and away a better bitter.
You have to win this last round, okay?
But I just wanted to... The chocolate thing, don't sweat.
Don't blink your eye.
Cut looks bad by Lopez's right eye. Look at Thobela. Maybe the faces of the two fighters tell a story of their own.
Well, I know which one I'd like to look like after the fight.
This was the combinations of Thobela in that round. Some of them missed, but a lot scored.
Thobela just unload these punches there. He looked real good.
11th round. Interestingly, in Lopez's corner, I don't know whether it was a bit of psychology, they were saying you've got to win this last round. Maybe they're trying to make him think that in all the confusion he only has 3 minutes to fight.
Yeah, you often find, you know, Mickey Duff has said that to me on several different occasions going into the 11th round of a fight. They'll tell you it's the last, that if you can win this round, then, you know, sometimes you can suck it up for the last round, you know, even without really realising that you've got another round to go.
Do you sometimes forget what round it is?
Yeah, I have done, yeah. Sometimes you get so carried away in the fight, you're so engrossed, especially if there's a title on the line, you just, you know, all you want to do is just win, you know, just like win every round, and you don't really count the rounds, you just fight. But I'm pretty sure that Tony Lopez knows what round this is.
Interesting stuff. He didn't say anything. If he did, this is the 11th. They're trying to get Lopez to pull this around. He's been outboxed for a lot of the journey here, the champion.
Thobela's given a lovely boxing display. He's not got desperate, he's not got ruffled, he's in the other guy's backyard, and he's just doing his own thing. You know, he gets caught, you know, occasionally with punches, but he doesn't get, you know, he doesn't get desperate at no stage. He doesn't show any signs of desperation there. He's got a good chin because Lopez can hit.
Extremely partisan crowd here, and judging by their reaction when Molina won here, not a particularly knowledgeable one either, because most fight crowds, I think, would have accepted that Molina, when he won, had won fair and square. Not the Sacramento crowd.
I'd have thought maybe the crowd, after seeing this fight, there can't be any real questions so far as to who the winner will be. Well, there isn't for me, but you know, Lopez just hasn't done enough in my book to take this decision just yet. Well, there's a round to go.
And Thobela, he's caught by one, but he got in with about 6.
He's really piling it on. He wants to win this real big.
11th round. Some of the fans, even in the ringside seats, are standing up now.
That really is a dreadful cut over Lopez's eye. He just stopped a lovely right hand over the top there.
He's being urged to go forward, and he's really almost fighting on instinct there now. Just throwing out leather, hoping that he gets lucky. A much more cool, controlled look about Thobela's work.
Yeah, Lopez just winging away, hitting and hoping now, but Thobela, even when he was going back, was throwing lovely punches. Lopez looks real desperate.
Well, Lopez, look at that eye. Oh, my goodness me. It really has got a lot worse.
Get him out of there.
Oh, that's a terrible cut.
Throw punches, son. You got to throw him.
I want to have you check it.
I'm not sure that Lopez in that round, this is a good little rally by Thobela. Lopez threw out so much leather and was so aggressive that I just wonder whether he might have nicked that last round on that scorecard. He was being outboxed though. A difficult round to score.
That is a nasty cut. If that had been Britain, I'm sure the fight would have been stopped by now.
Well, maybe it should have been. I know it's a World Championship contest, but it's a terrible, terrible mess. 12th and last round for Lopez's WBA lightweight championship. He's the one in the tiger skin shorts, and we think he's behind here.
Lopez really has to go, you know, just go for broke now, because he, you know, barring a knockout, he's going to get beat.
If the judges are scoring it the same way that we are. Right over the top from Lopez. You've got to admire his guts and courage.
Yeah, that's what champions are often made of here, you know. Guts and courage going into the last few rounds, because it's then when you really have to dig deep and you know, the tide's going against you, but you really have to just hang in there and just look to get off with a, you know, just one punch can swing the whole fight for you. Crowd are trying to spur him on.
He's dabbing away at the blood, which must be now obscuring his vision too.
It's interesting though, you know, the referee's never stopped the action once to have a look at the cut. As you can see, it's quite severe, but he's never, you know, called the doctor up or anything, so full credit to the corner because they've kept it under control.
Maybe the ref just wants to get home. All right.
But Thobela's just walking in now. He's just doing his own thing. He's just walking in, flat-footed, looking to lay more punches on that cut.
I can't think of many other referees in many other places that wouldn't have had the doctor look at this cut.
Well, I'm really surprised. It's a terrible cut.
Thobela, oh, he's getting through now again, and Lopez is hurt. Lopez was hurt and shaken by those. And his face now is a red mask. It's horrible.
Well, there's only 1 minute for me. The fight's not over yet. There's only a few seconds left, but you know, there really can't be any doubt of the winner.
Thobela, good stiff jab. He's been in control of this, and on boxing skills, he's been on a different planet to Lopez.
Well, he started slowly, but you know, as each round's gone on, he's just gradually taken over. You know, Lopez started off as the aggressor, but Thobela just started, you know, he's now the aggressor.
Bags of heart, bags of courage, bags of guts from Lopez. But to Duke and I, it doesn't look enough.
No, it's not enough for me.
Last few seconds. There's the countdown, bottom right.
Thobela just pouring it on now. You can sense the finish in sight, and he's just really pouring it on. Completely outboxed Tony Lopez.
Well, there's no doubt at all that Thobela won that last round. Lopez, well, belatedly he lifts his hands up. There's Malcolm Garrett with Thobela in the corner, and he certainly won the last round, and I've got him a 3-point winner, and that may be a conservative estimate.